Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to introduce you to this webinar from accessiBe, from backlog to release, simplify accessibility with AI. We're going to jump into a lot of topics today, and this is really dedicated for dev team leaders and product leaders, and anyone really who's touching accessibility at their organization and hoping to bring accessibility closer to their digital products. So our agenda for today. We'll briefly introduce ourselves in just a moment, and then we'll talk about accessibility also briefly before we get into the developer's dilemma. What's holding accessibility back for developers and product teams, why this is being stalled, and what we can do about it. And then my colleague will share accessFlow, our accessibility management platform, in real time along with the MCP, which was very exciting. Feel free to add your questions in the chat at any time. We'll be here to answer them. We'll dedicate time at the end. And we're really looking forward to the session and bringing more of this information closer to you. So without further ado, I'll introduce myself. My name is Sapir Yarden. I am part of accessiBe's marketing team. I've been with the company for over 4 years, have been in a few different roles here, but really excited to be part of this organization and the work that we do, especially in my role with the community, focusing on partnerships and making sure that the products that we build are actually impacting end users, and getting the feedback from them to continuously improve. And I'm really excited for my colleague here to introduce himself, so I'll hand it over to him.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason. Before I actually worked at accessiBe, I was a teacher for children with special needs. So this kind of actually molded how I actually decided to work with the community, and that kind of is what brought me here. So in that process, I started at the ground level, working with the support teams, and actually understanding how our customers really felt about accessibility, and actually trying to actually help them along like through their journey. And nowadays, I'm a automation engineer, and now directly working with the accessFlow product and actually interacting with it daily, and now starting to build something truly great here.
Thanks, Jason. And we've been at the company for some time now, and we've had the opportunity to work across departments, but also together and delivering access flow to different types of customers. And what's been really interesting about our collaboration and how we work as a company is also the ability to get customer feedback, so that we can add new features, and make sure that the product is really working for any sort of use case. And you'll see that as we go on with the webinar. So we'll talk briefly about why we're here today, which at the end of the day is digital accessibility and bringing accessibility closer to your organizations. So when we're talking about what web accessibility is, it really is about making your digital assets accessible for everyone, including and maybe also especially for the disability community. In the image here, you can see my colleague Josh Basil. He's a C45 quadriplegic. He was voted onto the Accessibility Forbes 100 list, which is the first time this list had gone live, as one of the biggest advocates of accessibility in the US in the past year. And really, this is his setup at home. I took this picture of all of the different screens and technologies that he's using to navigate the web. So that could be the click stick that he's using with his mouth to navigate different elements. It could be the on-screen on-screen keyboard, and it could also be the screen reader that he's using just to hear all of the different elements. And the way that he navigates is truly amazing. And that's really what this all is about, making sure that anyone has the ability to reach every single element on the page, to navigate freely through the content that your organization is trying to share. So that's a little bit about the background to what we do as an organization. But where this stems from, and maybe where you're coming from to this conversation, where your business is coming from, is the compliance angle and making sure that you're up to standards with the latest regulations. So there's global regulations around the world. In the US, that might be the American with Disabilities Act that went into effect in 1990, but actually didn't mention websites at the time. So we're just catching up to that now. There's regulations in Canada, and most recently in Europe. That was the European Accessibility Act came into effect in June of 2025. And all of these different regulations are adhering to the WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, which is essentially a guidebook for how websites could be perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust for people with disabilities to navigate your websites. So these are the standards also that our accessibility engine and all of our solutions are adapted to make sure that the websites that you're building are going to be accessible to that standard and compliant with the relevant laws. And that's why we've built the platform that accessiBe has today. So we have several different solutions, and what we've become famous for, known for, is Access Widget, which is the AI-powered on-demand solution that you'll see on a lot of websites when you see that little widget on the website, and you can make those adjustments in real time. But what we're here to talk about today is the dev tools that can help you make sure that you're delivering in real time accessible experiences. And then also we do have a services team that conducts professional services. If you have downloadable files that need to be remediated, videos that need captions, or any audits, VPATs of the sort. If anyone here is interested in more of those compliance elements, feel free to add that in the chat as well, and we'll get back to you. But all of these different platforms help you on your accessibility journey, making sure that everything that you're doing at your organization is going to be at the level that you want to, at the highest level that you want to be at. And that's why we're excited to talk about accessFlow today, because this is really going to be core to your needs. So as I mentioned before, feel free to add your questions in the chat as they come up, and we'll make sure to answer them when we get to the Q&A. But in my time at accessiBe, and Jason, I'd love for you to jump in a moment, but in my time at accessiBe, I've had a lot of different conversations with developers and product teams and people who touch websites, and they might be experts in this and they might not. But what it has come to my attention to know is that accessibility is really difficult to prioritize. It's still sort of niche in the world of building websites, even though we've been talking about it, at least at our organization, for quite some time. So it usually happens at the end of the product cycle. And then that's when issues surface. So it could be too late. You have to go back, do rework. If you have multiple products, or if there's different teams working on different websites or elements or digital assets, that testing can also be disconnected and happening at different times. And ultimately, there's not a lot of organizations, at least in the sort of growing market segment. So maybe in the biggest companies, they do have accessibility teams, but not every single company has an accessibility person on demand who has a specialized knowledge to make sure that elements are accessible. And I wanted to hear what your thoughts are, Jason, on this particular dilemma.
You're very right about this, actually. So, like, the common thread about all this is like friction, like because in each aspect, actually, as working with devs as a QA and devs in product and design, like we actually realize that the hardest point is that we're trying to actually push things quickly, but the thing is that everything regarding accessibility becomes a backlog because it's actually super hard to prioritize. It's actually something that actually like requires like a lot of actually uh, diligence, and it's actionable items, but it's something that's actually really hard to actually manage. So what we're trying to fix here is actually make this actual flow a lot smoother and actually give us like a way to actually test things in advance, actually catch issues early, and be very like proactive about our approach of dealing with this particular dilemma.
So, having heard all of these different elements of the developer dilemma or the challenges that developers might face when building products and then reaching accessibility, ultimately, accessFlow is here to provide value, right? It's here to
Absolutely.
help with
Well,
some immediate needs. Why do you
yeah.
think things get stuck with accessibility?
Because it's super hard to prioritize. Like as we said before, like it's something that like kind of like it's so niche that we don't really know how to manage it, and it's like something that's not part of the common workflow. But like if we can make it something that's actually in our existing workflow, then it's a way to kind of actually help us move it forward. So that's
Yeah,
our goal. Yeah.
exactly. Well, you lined that up perfectly for my next slide, which is let's take control with accessFlow. And I'd love for you to maybe tell us a little bit more about the product and your experience, because you've really been at the company since the onset of this product development and where it's at now. So, can you tell us a little bit about how accessFlow works?
Yeah, so it's been some time since I've been here, but like definitely I saw this product actually grow from like something that was actually like pretty small and workable, but then seeing how our customers, the people that we worked with, actually they actually gave their input and actually figured out what actually like worked for them, and we actually also added our input, and pretty much it helped us build a wonderful product. So right now, like actually like the way that the product works is that we actually audit your website. You actually input your website, and then we actually scan all the pages that you actually like are allowed in your quota. Once we do that, you actually have all your data immediately. Like everything is actually there, and then pretty much we actually offer quick solutions for all the information. Like for each issue, like you see actual data that actually is actionable and actually allows us to actually fix the issues like specifically whenever you want. Like it provides instant value like whenever you need it. And then aside from that, actually, it allows us to actually. So once we actually allow you to actually fix everything, then you're able to actually maintain like all the issues with periodic scanning, and actually you have like all the monitoring that you need, and it also integrates with like a lot of your external tools, so it allows us to kind of like make sure that it's part of your existing workflow. So this is actually the thing, like you maintain this project as you move forward, you know?
I like that. And it'll become a lot more tangible once we jump into the demo as well, because I'm already visualizing a lot of the elements for myself. But what I think is really cool is you input the website to the platform, it scans the platform, it tells you what you need to fix, and then you're pretty much smooth sailing there. And you're in control of when you scan, how frequently you scan, when you make the changes, how many changes you make at a single point in time. And it's just a really cool product to see in real time. So without further ado, Jason, your turn to share
Okay.
screen.
Yeah, I'm going to share now. Okay. All right. So now we have, this is the platform. Okay. So this is actually the dashboard view. So right here we have a view of unique issues. Okay. So this is actually your complete website overview. So here you can see the website URL on the top corner. And then here you can see details about the existing unique issues. Okay, so the way that we categorize issues in general is that we have unique issues that are one-offs, things that happen actually on a single page across time, and then we have reoccurring issues that happen across your entire website. You also have your audited pages. So these are the pages that are within your website based on the scan quota. Here you could also see your audit cycle and actually like all the actual data, like actually like when your last audit happened, and then also when your upcoming audit is happening, which is also like you could actually get it changeable like based on your plan. Then you also have website assets. Assets are the products that actually pretty much any external file that you actually could actually remediate or anything like that. It happens as asset, but I'll get on that a bit later. Here you have a view
Jason, can I
of
ask a
your,
quick question?
yeah,
What are the different audit cycles? It says weekly.
yeah. So we have a
What are the
weekly,
different options?
yeah. So the options are actually weekly. We have a monthly cycle, and then we also have like a bi-weekly cycle, and then also we have like an API that you can actually trigger on demand for your entire site, like
Mhm.
also, and that's also part of a separate plan.
And just for clarification, also the website assets, you mentioned downloadable files. So those would be like the PDFs or video
Yeah.
files that you might need remediated separately because you're
Yeah,
not
so
the
PDFs,
HTML.
audio, anything that actually is a external asset that actually requires a download and may not be accessible, we actually careen these into this section, and then you could actually work with our manual services team to actually get them remediated.
Cool. Thank you.
Uh, like also, this view shows you actually anything that happened like on your website throughout the scan. So like if there were any loading issues throughout like specific pages, so you could see any issues that were there. Also, we give you all the analytics that you might need to actually track your accessibility journey. So for example, actually you could track your score over time. Here you have filters to actually track like over the last 12 months. And then you can also see it actually like historically through here. through here as well. So this actually is a way to actually make sure that you're making the progress that you need, and actually also to you can show it to shareholders to actually make sure that they actually are getting the true picture of what you're really looking for.
At our company all hands last week, we had a customer who uses accessFlow demonstrate how they use the score to report to leadership about all of the changes that they're making on their end and the effectiveness of accessFlow helping to add value for those conversations. So they're saying, hey, here's the progress we've made on accessibility over this amount of time.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So this is actually like a view to get like the actual breakdown of your entire website's journey. Now moving to the explore page of like how we actually work with like how we work with the platform. Okay, so this is our explore view. This is your workflow here. So this actually gives you details on all the issues that are happening across your entire website. So here you can actually look at a specific issue. So like for example, I'll go into this issue field label, and here we show a issue description, which actually gives you the actual title of the issue, a way that you could track it if you actually decide to export it into a external ticketing system, which I'll go over later. And also you get the descriptions here. You get actually any information that you need to actually understand why this issue is happening, how you made this actual this accessibility error, and then also it provides you your source code and also your suggested fix here. Not to forget, we also like actually give you a link to the WCAG criteria, so you could actually follow it and actually understand even deeper why this issue happened and ways to prevent it in the future. So, like our platform is really meant to actually inform you how to actually like kind of work with accessibility, like in a ongoing way.
That's really cool from the perspective of not everyone has an accessibility expert on their team or on demand, but you get the code issue and the fix and the explanation of why that needs to happen.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's powerful stuff when you actually work with it in tandem with everything. So this also gives you a issue selector and also the web page that it appeared on. So you can actually track it to understand exactly where it occurred and how to resolve it. This is actually the view of a unique issue. I'll go into one of a reoccurring issue here. So like a reoccurring issue is also like as I explained before, issues that appear on multiple web pages. So you could actually, it gives you the same view here, but you could actually also track any page that it appeared on throughout your website. So this is kind of a way to also make sure that you keep it actually resolved inside of the entire application. So
I
like
was just
also,
about to ask you about that. And then I saw another thing I wanted to ask you about,
mhm,
which is the team comments at the top.
yeah, we have a team comment section that allows you to actually interact with your team members. So you could actually, okay, so we have a full suite of actual team collaboration tools that allow you to actually assign issues to your teammates, actually. So you can actually get them to actually work on specific issues. It appears inside of the remediation a table here. And then also you could also mark them. Yeah, so like it sends them like a notification so they understand that they have to work on it. You could also comment them. You could also mention them, make sure that they're like aware of what they actually have to do. And you could actually split up the tasks like across your entire dev teams to actually make sure that everyone's working on specific things and everyone knows what they're working on. We also have filters for this that you could actually now filter your entire table. So, like for example, the assigned issue like appears actually here for the specific user. So, like each user who actually enters the platform can actually manage their work. Okay.
How many
Like
users can have access?
so we have like unlimited users, but it's also dependent on plan. So like the
Okay,
enterprise plan is unlimited users. But
cool.
like actually lower tiers, like we actually have for like 3 users, we have 10 users. Like yeah,
Awesome.
so you could also like we also like tailor to your needs kind of like in a sense.
Mhm.
So if you need more users, like it's always something that we're willing to actually like help you out with. Uh,
Cool.
so like our remediation table here, you could actually filter, like filter by issue type, filter by assignee. You have all the filters and sorting capabilities that you would need in a type of table like this. And yeah, it helps you kind of move forward like with your accessibility project and the kind of like streamline your workflow. Here we have another view of the actual issues, but by rule. So you could actually view each issue type, but just actually a more granular sense. If you want to work on a specific issue that's happening across your website, you could actually do it. We have the definitions of everything. You could also export your issues here, like the entire list of that specific issue to a JSON and then get it actually, and then actually import it into your ticketing system. And yeah, it's another way to work with your actual website and the accessibility issues along the way. Here we also have web pages. So the web pages view actually like pretty much this is actually like like also like another way that actually allows us to kind of navigate how we want to work with our accessibility issues. So if you want to track a specific page, you can actually track the page, follow all the issues that happen inside the actual page. You have all the occurrences. It's a different view to actually navigate and actually manage our issues. We also have a visualize tool that allows you to actually visualize the website uh, pretty much as it's happened, like as issues happen. So it's a way to kind of work with our accessibility platform, but with a visual indication of what's happening. It's super powerful actually here, and you also have all the capabilities that I mentioned before there,
That's cool.
like as well. Here, like I also want to go into the exporting function. So we also have like in the remediation panel, we have the ability to export issues. Okay, so you could actually export to any ticketing system that we have allotted here. So I'll show you this list here. We have these, and you can actually export an accessibility issue there and then track it actually through your own ticketing systems and manage it within your existing workflow. So you could actually make this a a project that you can actually manage, and pretty much everyone who actually touches it actually has like pure visibility for it. Okay. I want to also go into the journeys tool. The journeys tool is actually a a, a tool that allows us to actually record a user journey. So, like, let's say our common user journeys as adding something to a cart, inputting something into a form field. Actually, this actually is a tool to track accessibility issues throughout these projects. So, for example, I could actually show you here. Hold on, give me 1 second. I could show you actually how this looks. So we have a tool that allows you to actually record your user journey. So this actually records your actions. We actually have it here in our step timeline, and then we could actually now follow any issue that actually is happening. So, like for example, I clicked this page and I went into this view. I want to go to this link of failure examples, and then now I want to end the recording because I actually did this journey. So we actually gather all the recorded steps, and pretty much you could actually tailor this. So what this is actually, it's actually showing you the accessibility issues that are happening in the specific user journey. So it allows you to actually track track like all these workflows that that user has that may actually become an issue, you know?
That
Uh,
is such a powerful tool because I'm thinking about a webinar that we recently did about e-commerce.
mhm.
And we found, I'm not sure if our guests here today are from the e-commerce space, but we found that 40% of people that we surveyed about e-commerce trends did not complete a checkout audit or an audit of their checkout journey on the website within the last year. And
Wow.
they had the survey respondents, there was a 72% confidence rate that their checkout was working well. And on top of
Wow.
that, we know that there's about a $260 billion loss of cart abandonment around the world. So if you're thinking about $260 billion being lost, and
Wow.
72% of people feel confident about their checkout journey, but then only 40% of people have audited it. If they had
Wow.
access to this tool where you can just record very simply, and I'm thinking anyone can have access to recording a journey on the website and then sharing that with the dev team so that they automatically get those issues. Am I correct in assuming that? Like
Yeah,
anyone?
it provides instant value. Like you actually are able to actually now like validate an entire checkout flow and then understand exactly what issues may have arisen in this checkout flow. Like, yeah, it's super powerful when we actually work with it this way, actually. So, yeah, these are the issues that are generated through this journey here.
So they
So,
just add on to the previous issues.
uh, it's actually separated. So you actually have a separate list of issues for a
Cool.
specific journey. So like this journey triggered this many issues in
I
it.
see.
So like it's actually a way to kind of like make sure that you can actually really lock down your checkout flows or lock down your search inputs. So this was actually one that was actually going through a search field and checking the actual the search inputting data and then moving through those tabs to actually get to the solution. Uh, so yeah, it's a real powerful tool if you want to actually lock down your specific user flows. It's it's great. It's great.
One last question
Yeah.
because we didn't touch on it, and it's probably my favorite feature, the severity.
Yes, yes. So like also issues are also filtered by severity. So you could actually know what issue to work on specifically. So like if you want to handle your most like extreme issues, you could actually now filter your tables by by the severity, and actually you can actually tailor your workflow to actually like say like let's deal with all the extreme issues, and then pretty much from there we'll actually move on to medium issues and high issues. Yeah, like it's a great way for us to actually work through this whole accessibility project because it's a little daunting when you actually get a bunch of issues, but then if you could actually like start to actually separate it by severity, it makes it like a lot more a lot easier to actually deal with.
Actionable. Well, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking I'm not a technical person. I don't work on the R&D side of the company at all. And seeing that list of issues was making me stressed out.
Yeah.
So if there's a
Yeah.
way to prioritize and see how I can consolidate some of the work, and then also knowing that I can integrate it into my own systems or assign other teammates to work on specific projects. So it's not just sitting with one person, but rather it's a team effort to make that website or that asset accessible.
Yeah, yeah, it's such a it's such a like amazing way to actually work with the platform. Here we also have actually the WCAG filters, so you can actually filter by any of the WCAG level that we have here, and it actually allows you to actually also work with the platform in that way. Just like if you want to actually make sure you actually reach this level of compliance, then this is actually a way to actually deal with it as well. I'm also
And
going to move
what's
on. Go
last
ahead.
question? Sorry.
No, 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 it's great.
Auto-resolvable.
Oh,
What's that
auto
last one?
resolvable. Yeah. Okay. So I was gonna get to that in a few, but maybe
Oh,
I'll actually touch
sorry.
on that now.
I'll stop interfering. I'm it's an exciting product.
Oh, it really is here actually. So okay, so maybe I'll touch on that actually now. So like auto resolvable. Okay, so you see the issues here with this indication. These are issues that are eligible for auto resolve. So these are actual. So auto resolve are is a feature that we have on the side panel that actually allows us to actually pretty much resolve issues automatically. You could actually install a script that actually, so like for example, this is actually the view, but I could show you how it would look actually with the actual view. So pretty much like auto resolve is a feature that allows us to actually resolve issues immediately on your page session using a script. So it's kind of like you could target a specific issue and then just resolve it instantly. So like I'll kind of give you a show on that. Uh, okay. So first we actually verify if the actual script is installed on your website. We actually first want to actually make sure that your actual website has these installed, and then you could actually follow this link to actually track the eligible issues for the auto resolve. And this shows you a list of the issues, the same list from our Explore page, but just filtered by the auto resolvable issues. So like now we could actually pretty much just manage this, like because if we want to actually not have to resolve like issues at a specific time, like like mainly like if we want to actually deal with the accessibility issues later, we could actually just get our instant coverage and make sure that we're actually covered while we actually work on like other issues. So this is a way to kind of like deal with this flow. So you could also kind of like go ahead. I also did mention that we actually have batch actions you could do here, but like here you could go ahead and just auto resolve these issues. It'll actually apply the actual fix on the page for that session. Okay. So it's
Sounds
like
like a real time saver.
yeah, yeah, it's a real time saver, like the way this works actually. Like it's pretty impressive actually. Pretty impressive. Yeah.
Are you
Uh
ready to jump into the MCP, or was there anything else you wanted to share?
oh, I can actually just maybe I touched on the integrations, just kind of a quick view of the assets page. This is actually a page that actually I mentioned before, just so you get a view of it. Like all the files you could actually send to our services team and actually manage it there. And then also, yeah, now we can just jump into the MCP. So the MCP is actually a tool that allows us to actually work. Okay, so like our goal is to actually make sure that you can actually deal with accessibility issues in like before you actually push it to production. Okay. So the way we actually manage that is that we actually have a token system that allows you to actually create a token for our MCP, and it allows you to work directly within your it allows you to work directly within your IDE. So you actually could use either a cursor or Copilot, any agentic workflow, and like any agentic workflow that actually is MCP compatible, like allows you to actually work with our tool here. So you just have to do like a minor configuration here, and you have access to a few tools that we actually offer. So it's actually get the most urgent issues. So for example, I could kind of show you how that works here. Let's fetch the most. So like for example, I can actually fetch the list of the most urgent accessibility issues. This is actually now working with our platform in your IDE. So you're able to actually gather the issues. And this takes a little while because sometimes things take a while to load.
And sometimes you have a lot of accessibility issues.
Yeah, exactly. This is absolutely true. So it's now fetching the urgent issues. I think it stopped. Okay, it's going. Still moving. It's still moving. Let me zoom in here so you guys could kind of get a view there. Da, da, da. Yes, it's working with the server. Oh yeah, it's working really slow today. It happens, you know. Only on a video demonstration do these things happen.
Well, this is a good opportunity to say that if anyone has questions, they can add them in the chat. So when we're done with the demo, we'll be able to answer them and make sure that you have value from this webinar as well.
Okay, so instead of waiting for it, maybe I'll just show you actually like the output because this is taking a while. So like the output of this is actually that it gathers the issues that happen across your website, the most urgent, and then you can actually navigate to the issue. So it gives you the issue, the severity, and actually pretty much like everything you see in the like everything that you see in the platform, but with the context of your code. So what you could actually do here, yeah, this is actually working super slow. So what you could do here is actually like for example, let me see something. So for example, you could actually select a specific issue. So I'm going to choose this one, the button rolls, and I'll just say here, hey, okay, so let me just do this. Uh, fetch the issue using. Okay, so I'm going to
So
fetch a
fetch
specific
the
issue.
issue using
Yeah,
the
fetch.
accessFlow MCP.
Yeah, so I'm fetching this specific issue that actually was actually like in the list using the accessFlow MCP. Okay, great, great, great. It's using the tool. Hey, there you go. There you go. Hey, all right, great. Okay, so it's actually now fetching the specific issue. It's actually giving us all the details. So I could actually also move this to the side so you can kind of see. So it actually gives you all the details of the specific issue. And then now I want to actually, so like you could also locate the issue inside of your browser here. So for example, if I wanted to open this issue, 1 second. Uh, if I wanted to open the issue just for visibility, yeah, that's it right there. Yeah. I could actually fetch the specific issue that's happening on my website. And then now I could actually work with the issue inside my IDE. So like, let's say, so pretty much we could actually now like apply the fix. Okay. So I want to apply this. So I want to apply this. I want to apply these suggested fix. So it uses another one of the tools that's actually to actually. So it uses the issue by display to actually get the specific issue, and then it actually applies the specific fix to the issue that actually we had going on here. Like the way that it also tracks the issue because may not have said it. Like as the occurrences happen, it tells you the page that the issue occurred on. So you could actually now so like any instance of this within your code, it's going to apply a fix to. So yeah, it's actually now computing on what it should do. It's seeing actually where it should apply it. So this is actually good because it's actually tracking the exact issue. It was with a success component and trying to add the roll button here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because there's a couple of elements that needs to apply it to, so it takes a little while. And I think my computer is just particularly slow at this moment. But yeah, so now okay. Yeah, so this is actually kind of like for demo purposes, I could show you actually how the fix actually works. So yeah. So like pretty much this is an example that I actually did a fix for a specific issue. I applied the fixes and then actually created a to-do list of the issues and then actually applied the relative fix to the code. So it's a way that we could actually work with this tool inside of the code editor very like seamlessly. I wish it would show you seamlessly now, but hey, this is how it is. But yeah, this is the MCP tool. And then also now you can also use another tool to resolve the issue inside of accessFlow. So you could communicate back to accessFlow to actually tell our platform that you resolved this issue. Okay.
So what would be the difference between using this MCP versus another Copilot?
Oh, great question. So pretty much the thing about this MCP is that it allows you to actually interact with our entire accessibility backend, and it has a lot of accessibility context. So it allows you to actually pretty much now make more informed decisions using like our own accessibility library and also everything that we sourced over the years. So it's like super powerful in that sense, actually.
Like the patented research of the
Yeah,
widget and
exactly.
the engine. Cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's super powerful, actually.
And before we move on, just one last chance for people to add questions to the chat while we go to um, share some final thoughts about the webinar.
Okay.
Jason, I'm going to take over the screen share if that's
Yep.
okay with you.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so just closing out the webinar today, what I understood, and hopefully this is what we were both trying to communicate, so hold me accountable here, is that you don't need to be an accessibility expert. So that's a question of technical debt, meaning maybe not everyone at your organization could be using accessFlow because it does seem to be pretty technical, but for developers and product leaders, it could be a very helpful tool in terms of streamlining processes, reducing amount of time for workaround or coming back to projects because you're really integrating it into the workflow. And then you can also automatically, or with the click of a few buttons, make some code suggestions to the source code. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's actually very accurate. It's actually yeah, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's actually like from an engineering perspective, it's actually like about actually being in control of your accessibility project and actually managing this with your team actually because you don't actually have to context switch actually, and it's actually just kind of making this a cohesive workflow for accessibility teams. Actually, well, for just development teams without having
Mhm.
to specialize in accessibility, you know?
Okay. So some of the use cases I've seen in working with customers that have used accessFlow is if they're doing a website rebrand or they're starting a new business and they want to make sure that everything is accessible for the ground up. But what are some other use cases for accessFlow? When would someone want to use this solution?
So like it's actually perfect to use in your existing accessibility projects. Like I mean your existing projects, like so like you want to actually make sure that your website is actually compliant for let's say you have a new promotion. If you're an e-commerce website, you want to make sure that everything that is tailored to this new promotion is accessible. So you could actually use this to kind of like ensure that your flows are actually compliant and actually pretty much like navigating the way that a screen reader user or a keyboard navigation user would actually navigate through your website. So it's like, yeah, these are like many ways that you can kind of like really tailor these flows actually. Yeah.
And how soon would someone be able to see the value of that?
Oh, immediately. Like you really actually get the value from the first scan. So as soon as you actually scan the website, you actually get instant value, seeing all your pages, and then you can also like use the auto resolve tool that allows you to actually also kind of cover a certain amount of like issues immediately, and then kind of start working from there.
Mhm. We also got our first question from the audience. Thanks, Ruben. So could you clarify what is the data source being used to identify, prioritize, and remediate the issues?
Yeah, so we actually pretty much organize the issues by severity, like actually using the WCAG standards and actually just all and also using actually like if I'm actually hearing the issue correctly, like we're actually pretty much sourcing all of our data from pretty much our backend, which is actually based off of accessibility best practices and standards. And we actually use these as ways to actually resolve issues and also identify what's the most severe and the most like what actually is the breaking changes on your website pretty much. That's the way that we kind of
So a
like do it.
combination of WCAG guidelines, accessibility best practices from the company's own accessibility engine,
Yeah.
um,
Industry standards
industry
like
standards. And then what I really love about, and this is my little marketing shtick here, but what I really love about the way that we work is also really much tying back to the community. So we've had a few different experiences of working with disability focused nonprofits, and we also have a team that works closely with our product department called Access Labs, and it's a group of blind usability testers who go in and make sure that our products are working effectively and that we're aligned to those WCAG standards. So it really ties back to that, and it's super important that we're not working in silos, but rather both Jason and I have had conversations with the community, have heard feedback, and as Jason said at the beginning of the call, many of our customers have given feedback about about accessFlow over the past couple of years that we've been developing this, and some of the features that we've built have been as a result of feedback that we've received. I think there's a couple that you've mentioned to me before that were direct feedback. Do you recall which ones those were?
some of the ticketing system integrations. We actually made sure that we got specific platforms like aside from the most common, we actually started supporting more of those and some of the like batch actions, things like that that actually makes a workflow a lot smoother. These are actual tools that we actually generated because of our users. So we're really open for that.
Cool. Thank you for all of that. I'll give it one more, like a few more seconds to see if anyone has any questions. But as a last question from me to you, what do you want people who join today's session to walk away with from accessFlow? What do you think is like the number one thing that they need to know if they're taking this information back to their teams?
Hmm. Hmm. Good question. Honestly, that accessibility doesn't have to be a long-winded journey. It's something that you could actually build into your daily workflow And it's something that kind of like we're all trying to get better at it. We're all working at it, and I think that the work is the most important thing. And with a platform that actually allows you to actually prioritize everything and actually like kind of make accessibility a natural a natural progression of your project, it's something that is powerful. So yeah, it's worth trying out.
That's awesome. And people can get started today with a free trial.
Absolutely. Just remember that. Like you could go ahead and actually sign up. Like it's actually completely like free, and you get to try out the platform yourself just to actually get the insight.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jason, for joining this. Thank you to
Yeah,
everyone who was part of this
yeah.
conversation. We
Thank you
hope you
all for
got
being
some
here.
value out of it and that you're energized to take some accessibility best practices back to your team. And we'll catch you at the next webinar, or feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to do a live demo for you and answer additional questions.
Thank you all.
Have a good one.
Bye.